Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. Here at Freebeat, if I had to pick one piece of gear that I used every single day that I would kind of call the cornerstone of my setup, it would probably be this. This is the Arturia Keystep. Now, if for some reason you are unfamiliar with the Keystep, it's a 32-key keyboard MIDI controller that also has a sequencer and an arpeggiator built in. The sequencer is very unique and fun to play. It's got a ton of connectivity options and is considered by a lot of electronic music producers to be one of the best MIDI controllers available. It's also very affordable at around $130 US. It's got 32 mini keys that feel great to play. They're velocity sensitive. They have aftertouch, which is really great. Instead of a pitch wheel and mod wheel, we have strips for both of those. We've got some controls here for the sequencer and arpeggiator. We can store up to 8 different sequences. We've got a time division knob. We've got a rate/tempo knob. We've got some more controls here for the sequencer, arpeggiator. If we hold the shift button, we can easily change MIDI channels. We can change the gate. We can turn swing on and off. And while not the namesake of the device, the swing function does work just fine. If we flip it around the back, I'll show you just how many connectivity options there are here. So we've got traditional 5-pin MIDI in and out. We've got sync in and out for use with like the pocket operators or the Korg Volcas. We've got a 1/4-inch sustain pedal input, which is really nice. Then we actually have 3 CV outputs for use with modular gear. We've got mod, gate, and pitch right there. We've got a jack here for a 9-volt DC power adapter, as well as a micro USB type B port, which can also be used to power the device, and it also can do MIDI over USB. Right here we have a couple switches that dictate how the sync function works. We can either have the Keystep generate its own clock, look for the clock via the USB port, look for the clock via the MIDI ports, or look for the clock via the sync ports. Wrap that up into a pretty small package and, very lightweight, easy to throw in a bag, and you've got one heck of an awesome keyboard controller. I use this every day. I use this with Ableton. I use it to control my Behringer Model D, my Korg Volca keys, my Korg NTS1, my Teenage Engineering OPZ, my Electron Model Cycles, my Arturia Microfreak. The list goes on and on and on. I absolutely love this keyboard. However, I do have 4 gripes that I'd like to address right now. So the first gripe is that while the 32 keys are awesome, not having the octave down here extended to C, to the lower C, adding those 5 keys, really gets to me, especially when I want to double a note down here and still play something up top. There's, just nothing here. So I would really like to see an additional 5 keys on here down to like the C. That would be really, really cool. Give 3 full octaves. Second, while I mentioned that the Keystep can generate its own sync track to send out to something like a PO or a Korg Volca, I never do that. And that's because there's no easy way to instantly tell what tempo you're at. See, there's a rate knob right here, which is effectively the tempo knob, but there's no way to tell what exact tempo you're at. So a tiny little screen just with the tempo would be really cool, so we can instantly change it right there. I would use this with the pocket operators and like the NTS1 so much more if there was a little screen so I could know what tempo I was at. Thirdly, there's a lot of blank space here, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I think I would like to see maybe 2 or 3 MIDI CC knobs. I think that would be really, really nice, especially playing with like the OPZ. I could be playing a little line here and then like imagine your filter cutoff right there. I think that'd be really, really cool. Just a few knobs to be able to control other aspects of your hardware or software other than just what note is playing. So a couple MIDI CC knobs would be sweet. And my last gripe might seem minor to some, but it's a pretty passionate one for me. I hate micro USB Type B with a burning fire. I hate it. It's flimsy. I feel like they break like nonstop. I am just not a huge fan of micro USB Type B. I would much rather have the older Type B, like a printer cable port. I would much rather have one of those, or Type C. It's just something a little more heavy duty than micro USB. It's great because it's small, but a Type B port would go a long way in terms of making it feel a little more durable. So overall, my thoughts on the Arturia... That was weird. Someone at the door? Hang on one second. That better not be Oliver. Let me go get that. Whoa. Keystep 37. Let's check this out. So all jokes and what is probably going to wind up being a pretty lengthy intro aside, this is the Keystep 37 by Arturia. And speaking of Arturia, a huge shout out to them for sending me one of these units to take a look at and give you guys not only my impressions and first reaction, which will be this video, but in the future, a full in-depth review. Of course, while Arturia did send me this unit, a good review here at Freebeat cannot be bought nor bribed. It must be earned. So all thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone. That being said, right here on the cover, we can see that this device takes care of a lot of my gripes with the original Keystep, which, by the way, I did not just make up those gripes for the segue into this part of the video. Those are really some issues I've had with the Keystep since day one. And this device tackles 100% all of them. It's incredible. On paper, this should be my favorite MIDI controller that I've ever used, and I cannot wait to get into this. So yeah, I would walk you guys around the box, but why can't we just take a peek at what's inside? Here we go. I'll show you the back really quick. Ooh, yep. Okay, let's get in. I will say the packaging does look pretty nice, at least this outer sleeve here, because I believe, yep, it just slides out. Let me shake the camera some more. And then we have the same box, literally the same box again. Alrighty, how do we get into this? There we go. Pull that open. And it's upside down. You know what? I'm just going to take it out of here. And toss the box aside. Really quick, there is a copy of Ableton Live Lite included, so you can get going if you've got a compatible computer right away, which is amazing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and unbox everything here. Looks like we get a couple cables. Looks like we've got USB here, which is a full-size Type B to A. Amazing. And then here, this is interesting. We have this little adapter. It's a full-size Type B to 2 female Type Bs. It says power and PC. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera there, but so it looks like we can have our own dedicated power and not rely off the PC power. All right. Man, this thing looks slick. All right, wow. Look at that, we got a little snack packet in there. Just kidding, do not eat, it says right there. Look at that, man. Yeah, this thing is nice looking, awesome. So right off the bat, let's take a peek at what is new. The first thing should be obvious. They've extended the Keystep from this F down to this C. They've added 5 more keys, hence the name Keystep 37. We can now play all sorts of stuff and have a good time with our chords and our, doubling our bass. We now have 37 keys to work with, 3 full octaves. We also have 4, count them, 4 MIDI CC knobs up here. So we have the ability to control our external gear quite easily. Aside from note playing, we can assign these to whatever numbers we'd like via the software that is included with this. Very, very cool stuff. You actually get 16 CC knobs because there are 4 different banks that you can change between using the shift button and the CC bank option right here. So we can actually have 4 different banks of 4 different knobs. Amazing. Thank you so much, Arturia, for doing that. Flip it around to the back here, and as I've already stated, we do have full-size USB Type B for power, and I assume it can do MIDI off that too with that adapter. Very, very cool. Just so much sturdier than micro USB. We actually have a dedicated power button, which is really, really cool. Again, huge thank you to Arturia for doing that. It just makes it feel so much more solid. Aside from that, looks like the back here is almost identical to the other one, which that's fine by me. This is already a lot. We do have a little Kensington lock port right there, so that's pretty cool. And to show you guys the last pain point that I wanted fixed, we're gonna plug this into some power here. Where's that power at? There we go. As you can see, we now have a screen that when I turn the rate knob shows us exactly what tempo we are at, as well as a plethora of other things. But for me, having the tempo right there means that this is going to be an awesome keyboard to work with as the master of my entire setup, basically. The keys are the same, they feel great. They are the mini keys still, but that's okay. They are still velocity sensitive and it still does have aftertouch. One thing that's new is that each key has a little LED above it, so you can tell when you're playing them. Very, very cool. Just a nice handy little feature to have. On top of that, there are now a bunch of different chord options that I haven't even really looked into yet. I know there's some really cool stuff you can do in terms of scale quantization to basically ensure that you never play a wrong note. If you're not well versed in music theory, you can set the scale that you want and just play the notes and it will always sound good no matter what you play, so that's very cool. They had a huge focus on this device with kind of unlocking creativity for folks, and I think they nailed it. Once we get into the chord mode, I think we're going to have a really good time playing around with that, especially with like the OPZ's chord track, which gives you 4-note polyphony, or the Micro Freak, or I might even hook this up to the Micron and see what we can do with that. The look of this thing is just fantastic. It's very, very sharp. I love the juxtaposition here in the black backdrop with the display right there, with the orange right here behind the chord button and on those chord control, which it looks like these knobs also, in addition to controlling CCs, can control chord stuff when we hold down. Yeah, wow. Whole bunch of functions. Size-wise, real quick, let's take a peek. It is really not that much bigger than the Keystep at all. I'm going to zoom all the way out. Yeah, not that much bigger than the Keystep at all, just a couple of inches. Price-wise, they're actually not too far apart either. So the normal Keystep retails for $129 US. The Keystep 37 is just $169 US. So $40 US difference, I think, is probably very worth it if you want those extra 5 keys down there, the MIDI CC knobs, the extra chord functions, the upgraded, more durable USB port, and of course, that screen. Absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get to work using the Keystep 37. Again, a huge shout out to Arturia for hooking it up with the unit. I will be sure to put this to good use. I cannot wait to use this with the OPZ and get some CCs mapped up and just have a blast. I think this is going to be a great controller. So if you guys are excited to see what I can do with the Arturia Keystep 37, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike, that's okay too. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.